Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. Apologies for that squeaky chair still yet again. We are heading over to Surrey now, and it's a beer from Hogs Brewery. Came out of the box that I got for my birthday off the wife, and we are taking a look at their Hog IPA. It is an aromatic session India Pale Ale, coming in at 4.5% in a 500ml bottle. Not sure how much it was. It's got to be said, I'm not sure of the label on that. It looks a bit plain. The crown is very nice. I'll give you some spiel on the back. We grow 8 acres of hops in the fields adjacent to our brewery to ensure our ingredients are the freshest and best, including English Cascade, a wonderfully aromatic hop used in this beer. So there's Cascade hops in this beer. On the other side, it's just saying light and hoppy with a blend of floral and fresh citrus notes up front. Well balanced with a long dry finish. Brewed with a selection of the finest English malts, English Cascade, Fuggle and Fuggles hops from Surrey. And Mosaic hops and Yakima, Mosaic hops from Yakima Valley, USA. So we've got Cascade, Fuggles and Yakima hops. So sounds interesting. There we go. There's another quick look at the bottle. Let's get it in a glass, and it's going in the All the Beer No Idea glass. Don't know how much of that you can see on there, but it is engraved. So let's get it cracked open and see what we get. It seems awfully dark. I hope it's all right on the camera for you guys. So let's give it a go. Session IPA again is not a style that is really for me, but when they're done by a traditional brewery, they do tend to be a lot better. They do tend to be a bit more fuller and a bit more oomph about them. So hopefully this is going to be one of them. So beer in a glass, there we go. As you'd expect, traditional sort of amber looking IPA, I would say. There are a few bubbles going up, but it's not really that sort of glass. There is just the smallest of hazes in that beer. And we've got a good finger of white head, which doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So it looks very decent. Let's give it a swirl, dive in with the nose and see what we get on the aroma. Yeah, nice. Definitely get that citrus note in there. Malty, sort of very much a grainy animal feed sort of malt backbone to this beer. Citrus, fruity. Yeah, smells decent. It smells like a proper old school sort of IPA. So without further ado, let's dive in on Hog IPA, the aromatic session India Pale Ale from Hogs Brewery. Cheers. There's a taste in there, and I can't put my finger on it. I was getting it on the nose as well. It's very much old school traditional sort of, got that old school traditional sort of aroma on it as well as what I'm getting in the taste. Probably the hops. Let's go in again. .5%. They're calling it a session IPA. I think that's got a decent body. For that ABV, I think that's got a nice body. That's quite a weighty body for this sort of beer. But again, I go back to sort of like traditional breweries, if you like, doing session IPAs always seem to have a better body for me. Minimal carbonation. Feels very smooth as you're drinking it. As it goes down, you do get that fizz coming through, sort of on the back of the palate and down the throat. When that part goes down, it feels quite busy, but it doesn't really ruin the beer. It doesn't roughen it up. The carbonation is still, you know, pretty smooth considering. Yeah, nice and smooth. Mouthfeel, not too bad, like I say, even with that carbonation. On the taste, there's very much a big malty note, which you would expect, certainly from this sort of like traditional sort of IPA feel, if you like, malty. There is a sweetness in there. I'm trying to think if it's sort of caramel or it's not sort of it's not really caramel, it's not really toffee, but there is that sweetness that you get with some sort of malty beers. You definitely get the citrus note in there. Yeah, malty, slightly sweet. You could say sweet bread sort of thing going on. Then you start getting that citrus note, fruity note, a little bitterness. There is a little bit of bitterness in there. It's not full on. It's very light, that bitterness, but it is there, and it does linger and it tails off. Once that sort of malt note has sort of like just wavered off, and you've got the fruity notes and the citrus notes, that's when the bitterness sort of starts kicking in. And once they tail off, it does leave you with a gentle bitterness in the background. Yeah, you can feel the hops kicking in straight away, and then just feel that little bit of bitterness, and that goes, and it does leave you with a gentle bitterness on the back. I will say now that sort of sweetness comes back into play a little bit as well. 4.5%. That's got quite a bit of flavour for something at 4.5%. It's not wishy-washy or anything. There's enough flavour in there from the malt and the hops. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent, I think. Like I said, it's traditional, so don't expect anything sort of craft, if you like, from this. But with it being traditional, it gives you a much more fuller body, fuller flavour. It doesn't feel wishy-washy, like I say, which you do get with some session IPAs, in my opinion. It's old school, but it's decent. It's very decent, it's got to be said. So Hogs Brewery out of Surrey, and their Hog IPA, an aromatic session India Pale Ale, I think is decent. Gets a thumbs up from me. Nice, easy drinker. Again, it's one of them, you want to go out on a nice sunny day, go to a nice little pub in the country, a couple of them, a bit of food, and Bob's your uncle. So yeah, big thumbs up from me. If you've had this beer before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.